Hello. Welcome to Visionarics, our podcast where you can have real and simple conversations with us about various tools and technologies. I'm GitLab, and
I'm Git. In this podcast, we dive into exciting discussions about simple and deep technical topics in the world of DevOps and cloud. You can find the full transcript of this episode on our website, visionarics.tech, to follow along with us. Stay tuned and enjoy the adventures in the world of technology.
hi Git. Welcome to the Visionarics podcast. Today, I want to hear about your main features from you. Are you ready for an exciting tour in the world of codes?
Hello, dear GitLab. Thank you for inviting me. Well, I'm like a digital diary for coders. But instead of memories, I have codes in me.
That's interesting. Let's start from the beginning. Can you tell us about Repository? I heard it's like a home for coders.
Exactly. My repository is like a house full of secret rooms. Working directory. It's the kitchen where everything happens. Staging area. Think of it as a big dining table where you put all the food before a party. And the famous .git directory.
Well, what is it?
It's like a hidden room behind a bookshelf. It's where you hide all the project secrets.
Wow, how cool. It's like we're talking about a spy movie, not a coding tool.
Exactly. And believe me, sometimes debugging a big project is more exciting than any spy movie.
So that's why coders love their job so much. By the way, I heard some people have trouble working with you, like with the staging area. What do you think?
Yes, well, sometimes the staging area can be like a tricky puzzle. But you know what? When you learn it, it's like finding out the secret of a magic trick.
Wow, so we're revealing the secrets of a digital magician now?
Exactly. And this is just the beginning. And now, let me tell you another secret. Do you know what commits are?
No, tell me.
Commits are like aha moments in a coder's life. You know, those times when everything suddenly fits and the code works.
Really? So what's a unique hash? Some kind of secret code?
Exactly. Think of each commit as a superhero. The unique hash is like that superhero's fingerprint. It's unique and can't be copied.
Wow, that's cool. So what's a commit message then?
It's like a short story about the superhero. For example, today I fixed 3 bugs and added a new feature.
Great. Now tell me, what are these branches and tags everyone talks about?
Oh, these are fun. Branches are like different timelines in sci-fi films. Each branch is a parallel world where a different version of the project is going on.
Wow, so what about tags?
Tags? They're like marking special moments in this time travel. Like when you finally fix that nasty bug and want to record this moment in history.
I see. Now a question. What should a coder do when they get confused with all these branches and tags?
Well, that's when they need to learn how to travel in this parallel world. And of course, a cup of coffee helps a lot.
So that's why coders drink so much coffee. By the way, now I have another question. What are these references or refs everyone talks about? I heard they're very important.
Oh, refs. They're like hidden markers in an adventure game. You know, those games where you need to find clues to go to the next level?
Yes. Well, tell me what they're like.
Well, branches, refs/heads, are like save points in the game. Whenever you reach an important level, you save it so if you mess up, you can go back.
Oh, I see. What about tags?
Tags, refs/tags, are like trophies you get after finishing a hard level. A kind of medal.
How cool. And remotes?
Remotes, refs/remotes, are like your friends in online games. You can always connect to them and play together.
Well, I never thought it would be so cool. Now another question. What are Git objects? Are they as exciting?
Oh, Git objects. These are like Lego bricks that build the code world. Blobs? They're the main bricks, like codes and files. Trees. Think you're building a house with Lego. Trees are the building plans. And commits.
Well, what are commits?
Commits are like the Lego building guide. They tell you how and when you put each brick to make this masterpiece.
Wow, how interesting. Now a question. What should a coder do when they get lost in all these objects?
Well, that's when they need to learn how to play with their Legos like a child. And of course, a cup of coffee always helps.
So that's why coders' rooms are full of toys. By the way, well, now let's talk about something interesting. What are these Git commands? I heard some are porcelain and some are plumbing. What does that mean?
Oh, good you asked. Look, think of Git as a big kitchen. Porcelain commands are like spoons, forks, and plates. Everyone is comfortable with them and uses them every day.
So what are plumbing commands?
They're like the pipes under the sink. Complex, a bit scary, and you only touch them when everything is broken.
Wow, what an interesting comparison. Now another question. What are these remotes and transfer protocols everyone talks about?
Oh, these are really cool. Remotes are like different branches of a chain restaurant. Each one is in a different place in the world, but they all have the same menu.
Interesting. What about transfer protocols?
They're like different ways to order food. SSH, it's like a private phone call to the restaurant. Safe and sure. HTTPS, like ordering online with a password. And Git protocol, it's like going into the restaurant and ordering directly from the chef.
Wow, how interesting. Now a question. What should a new coder do when they get confused with all these commands and protocols?
Well, that's when they need to learn how to cook. Start with simple dishes, then slowly move to more complex recipes. And remember, even the best chefs sometimes burn their food.
Can you tell me more about Git commands? The ones you talked about a little while ago?
Oh yes, of course. I'm glad you asked about Git commands. Let me explain it this way. Porcelain commands are exactly like answering Slack messages while eating with one hand. These are high-level, user-friendly commands used for everyday tasks, like git commit, git push, or git pull. These are like the normal tasks a DevOps engineer does every day, like checking logs or deploying an app. But plumbing commands? They're exactly like talking with the security team to access a vital server. These are lower-level, more complex commands that are not usually used directly, but they form the base of how Git works, like git cat file, git ls tree, or git rev list. Using these commands is like a DevOps engineer working directly with the system's vital infrastructure. The main difference is that porcelain commands are made for daily use and make work easier, while plumbing commands are for times when we need more exact control and direct access to Git's inner structure.
Thank you so much for these detailed explanations. Now can you tell me about Git hooks? I heard they're very powerful.
Git hooks. These are like little wizards that appear at important moments.
Wow, how do they work?
Look, client-side hooks are like a good friend who stops you before you make a big mistake. For example, when you're pushing code, it checks if all tests have passed. If something is wrong, it says, "Hey buddy, take another look."
That's so cool. What about server-side hooks?
Oh, they're like strict bouncers at a cool club. Before they let your code into the main party, they check everything. If your code doesn't meet the required standards, they say, "Sorry mate, not tonight."
Great. Now tell me, what's this Git LFS I've been hearing about lately?
Git LFS. It's like a big storage room next to your house. You know, when your house gets full of big and heavy things, what do?
Well, I put them in storage.
Exactly. Git LFS does the same thing. It separates big files like images, videos, and binary files from the main code and keeps them in a separate storage. This way, working with the project becomes faster and easier.
How clever. Now, what about Git Submodules? What are they?
Git Submodules. These are like Matryoshka dolls, you know, those Russian dolls that fit inside each other.
Yes. Well,
Well, imagine you're building a big project, like a very big Matryoshka doll. Now, some parts might be smaller projects that are independent, like the smaller dolls inside the Matryoshka. Submodules let you put these smaller projects inside the main project without copying all their code.
Wow, how interesting. Now tell me, what's Git Worktree?
Git Worktree. This is like having several desks in one office. You know, sometimes you have to work on several projects at the same time, right?
Yes, it happens a lot.
Well, Git Worktree does exactly that. It lets you work on several branches of a project at the same time without having to switch between branches all the time. It's like having a separate desk for each task.
Great. Now a hard question. What's Git Bisect?
Git Bisect. This is like a game of 20 questions, but for finding bugs.
How?
Look, imagine you found a bug in your code, but you don't know exactly when it appeared. Git Bisect is like a smart detective that checks commits using a half-cut method to find exactly which commit caused this bug. It's much faster than checking all commits one by one yourself.
By the way, did you know that I built an interesting feature called Merge Request on my built-in features?
Really? How interesting. I have something similar too. You can make a pull request with the request pull command.
Really? How does it work?
Well, for example, you can say pull origin/main from a specific address and compare it with feature branch. Of course, the command is a bit more complex and has more parameters.
Interesting. But I think my merge request is a bit more user-friendly. You can review codes, leave comments, and even run CI/CD on it.
It seems you've made a lot of progress. Now that CI/CD's come up, can you explain more about it?
Of course, CI/CD is one of my main features that I'm very proud of. Look, CI/CD is like an automatic production line in a modern factory. CI, or continuous integration, is like a smart robot that tests, builds, and checks the code every time a programmer pushes it. It makes sure the new code doesn't clash with other codes. If it finds a problem, it quickly tells the team.
Wow, so it's like a tireless quality control engineer. How about CD?
Exactly. Now CD, or continuous delivery deployment, is like a super-fast pizza delivery system. As soon as CI confirms everything is okay, CD sends that new version directly to the main server or even to the users.
How interesting. What effect does this system have on development speed?
Its effect is amazing. With CI/CD, teams can work much faster, find mistakes earlier, and be sure that there's always a working version of the software ready to use. Imagine, instead of releasing a new version every now and then, they can do it almost every day.
It's really a revolution in the software development world. By the way, I heard you have special tools for CI/CD. Can you tell me more about them?
Of course, I have an integrated CI/CD system that works directly with my other features. Programmers can define CI/CD pipelines using .GitLab CI/YAML files. This file uses your low-level commands like clone, checkout, and push. Also, this file includes different stages like build, test, and deploy. Each stage can have scripts that run Git commands. For example, you can use Git Submodule update in the build stage, or use Git push in the deploy stage to send code to the production server.
That's amazing. It seems CI/CD has really changed the software development world.
Now another question. What's Git Flow? I heard many people use it.
Git Flow. It's like a cooking guide for a big restaurant. It tells you exactly how to make your branches, when and how to merge, and how to release.
Can you explain more?
Sure. Imagine you're running a big restaurant. Git Flow tells you 1. Have a master branch that's always ready to serve customers, stable versions. 2. Have a develop branch for preparing new dishes, development. 3. For each new dish, make a feature branch. 4. When you want to prepare a new menu, make a release branch. 5. If there's an urgent problem with the main dish, use a hotfix branch. This method helps big teams work more neatly and stop tasks from clashing. Wow, how complete. Now one last question. When a new programmer faces all these ideas, what advice do you have for them?
I'd tell them not to worry. We were all new once. The best way is to start with simple things. First, start with main commands like commit, push, and pull. Then slowly move to more complex ideas. And remember, making mistakes is part of learning. Even the best programmers sometimes make mistakes. The important thing is to learn from our mistakes and keep going.
What great advice. Thank you so much, Git. I think we learned a lot today.
You're welcome. I'm happy I could help. Remember, the world of programming.
Thank you for listening to Visionarics. You can find more technical and practical discussions on our website, visionarics.tech.
Thank you for listening to Visionarics. You can find more technical and practical discussions on our website, visionarics.tech.
Goodbye for now.
Goodbye.